welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing books to read for rainy days. It is now the middle of April and the forecast for the next week or two involves just literally only rain. So I thought it'd be cool to make up a list, very vague, short list of books and genres that I think are perfect to read on those rainy days. Rainy days are all about cuddling up on the couch with a blanket, having some tea, some snacks, and then having that perfect book. When I'm thinking about the scenario and thinking of the climate, thinking about where I'm at, the kind of books that I want to read are either A, books that I can just get completely lost in. It's a really long book. There's a huge story, and I just am what is going on, and I have to figure out what happens. Or B, a mystery thriller. Those are the two options, and I think I would rather have a mystery thriller, because it's kind of a dark, gloomy climate, so that's kind of the kind of book I want. But I do put some of a story that I can get lost in. I have a couple of suggestions for that as well. The first book that I have as a suggestion is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. And it's one of my favorite books. I read it a couple years ago. I don't know when this book came out. But I haven't read it recently. I think I read it last year, actually. Last summer. I remember now. Because I worked from home and checked that book out from the library and read it all day. The book is pretty long, so it's 440 pages, but it has a lot going on. And it's a historical fiction book about World War II in France, and it revolves around the life of two sisters. I thought it was a really good story to get lost in, and it's definitely something that I would love to reread in the future. And if I had a rainy week, that's definitely something I would want to get lost in. Okay, so the next book is the thriller that I'm talking about, and it's Girl on the Train, which I know is everyone's read this book, but if you haven't, I think this is definitely a good book to pick up on a rainy day. And if you have read it, something to reread. This is definitely a book I would reread. I read this, I think the same time as I read The Nightingale. So very good book, and I really actually want to check out the movie. Rainy Day movie. Oh, see, the library has that movie. But anyways, it's a story about a woman who takes a commuter train every day, and she sees something mysterious happen in one of the homes that she passes by every day, and she gets roped into the investigation and so on and so forth. It's really, really good and really freaky at some parts, and it's just a really good thriller to soak up on a gloomy day. Okay, so the next book I have is a story that you can kind of really sink into. It's just about under 400 pages long, so definitely a longer-ish book, and it's called The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane by Lisa C. I really enjoyed this book. Also read this, I think, last year around Thanksgiving, and I think it's a really wonderful story. It centers around a woman and her life in China and growing up on in a tea farming village, and she gets pregnant and gives up her daughter for adoption. So it kind of follows her story and then her daughter's story, and just kind of how and her daughter is adopted in the United States. And so it's just kind of interesting to see how the daughter and mother's lives are happening without each other, and the similarities that happen, and then the eventual intermingling of stories. So it's a really good story just to get lost in. So definitely recommend for a nice rainy day. Okay, next book is a mystery / thriller, and it's called The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. And this book, you guys, shook me up when I read it the first time. It is a book about a girl who goes to summer camp and when in her teens, and her 3 friends disappear and they never find her, and she's in the cabin with the girls, so she's the last one to see them all together. And you fast forward about, I think, 15 years, and she goes back to the camp, and the same thing happens again, and it's just a crazy mystery thriller. And I kept Okay, I really like a mystery thriller where I cannot guess the ending. Because I am not gonna lie, I am very good at guessing the ending of a book or a movie, and I just get really bummed when I can do that. And like, if I can guess the ending of a book, maybe you should have added more twists and turns, but I had so many theories on this book, and I was wrong about every single one of them. Threw me, like, just, wow. It just really threw me. I was like, what? In the end. So definitely a really cool book to read on a rainy day. The last, like, book that I'm actually going to describe is another mystery fiction book, and it's called Everything I Never Told You by Celeste. I don't know if I've said her name right, but it's a book about a Chinese American family and the oldest daughter and favorite daughter, who is like super smart, most likely to succeed. Her parents have really big dreams for her, ends up dead in a lake. And so throughout the book, like, you go through the crime investigation of her drowning or murder, who knows, and you're learning more about this family and all the like twisty and crazy family secrets that they have. So it was kind of a really like gloomy, mystery filled book, so definitely perfect for a rainy day. Okay, lastly, this isn't like a particular book, but I think that anything by Agatha Christie should be appropriate for a rainy day. Fun fact, Agatha Christie is like my mom's favorite author, so her bookshelf is like filled, like just is literally just Agatha Christie books. And so I finally read my first Agatha Christie book last year, and it was called The Hollow, and it was really, really good and very suspenseful and perfect for, I think I read it in the winter time, so perfect for a cold/rainy day. They're just full of mystery and characters, and they're just really fun and easy to read. So definitely recommend anything by Agatha Christie. That's it for me today. Just wanted to do a quick, short little video on the weather and what you should be using to, you know, warm up, stay inside, just have a relaxing day. Let me know in the comments below what you're reading or what you think is the perfect book for a rainy day. Thanks for stopping by. I will see you guys next week.